Good morning, class 9 students. I welcome you all on this online platform provided by Jagrati Classes. Today we have, in our previous video lectures, we have completed the topic that is work and the topic energies, about work and energy. So this video lecture is for class 9 students, and we are continuing our chapter 11th, that is work and energy. So we have already not started actually, we are on the completion of this unit. So we have discussed the concept of work in our introductory class. I told you the definition of work, its concept, then what are the conditions required for work. Then we discussed about the term energy. So we discussed in the last class about kinetic and potential energy. Both the kinetic and potential energy are combinedly called mechanical energy. So we have already done what are the mechanical energy, that is kinetic and potential. Then we have discussed their definition. We have also done their derivation. So today what we'll do is, we'll do some questions related to energy given in your books. As we have done the questions related to work, so here in physics, the more we practice the numericals, the more our concepts become clear. So we'll be doing the questions related to kinetic and potential energy both. For a revision, I'll tell you that kinetic energy, the formula for kinetic energy was half m v square minus u square. So this was the formula for kinetic energy, and for potential energy, the formula here which we used is mgh, and this potential energy actually it is referred to as gravitational potential energy. Okay. So because we are talking on all the objects which are present at certain height from the ground or certain height from the earth's surface. So because here our earth's surface is involved and earth attracts each and every object towards itself, towards the center, with a force called gravity. So here the potential energy which we are studying is particularly the gravitational potential energy. And next you have kinetic energy. Also there was a modification in the formula for kinetic energy, that is if u, that is your initial velocity. If initial velocity of any object is 0, that is if I take u to be 0, then I get v square minus 0 square. So then the formula of kinetic energy becomes half m v square. Okay. So these all formula we have discussed their complete derivation. The derivation for potential energy was very short. It had 2 to 3 steps, and kinetic energy we also derived, and I told you during the derivations and also in the introductory class that work and energy are relative parameters or relative terms. What do I mean by relative is that if any object has energy, then only he or she or it can perform work. If the object does not has energy, then it does not perform or it is not able to perform any kind of work there. So this is what you have, energy and work to be the related terms, and therefore we are dealing with both the terms in a particular or in a same chapter. What was energy? If I tell you what is the basic definition of energy, can you define it? Very good. Energy is what? It is the capacity of doing work. So in simple terms, energy is the capacity of doing work, which is what I explained you just now, that if any object has energy, then it will perform the work. So now we'll be practicing some of the numericals which are based on these two formulas, that is you will be asked to find kinetic energy or potential energy. But before this, we'll be doing one new topic which is then related and also very important. It is law of conservation of energy. So we'll be doing this topic. This would be the topic for today's class, that is law of conservation of energy. This is again a very interesting topic, very easier topic. Law of conservation. In your higher classes, you will be reading many laws, that is about law of conservation of mass. Okay, here you have law of conservation of energy. So wherever you get this statement, that is law of conservation, then the initial words of the statement remains the same, And then whatever physical parameter you are talking about, you can include this, okay, in the statements what you write. So the basic statement of law of conservation is what? Law of conservation means the parameter, like here the initial parameter is energy. So we say that initially the energy of system will be equal to the final energy of the system. That is, initial and final energy remain same. So you can here simply say energy remains conserved. Okay, so this is the basic statement I want you to remember wherever you get law of conservation. Either it is law of conservation of energy or law of conservation of mass, everything means the same. So law of conservation of energy, you can write, it states that energy can neither be created, it states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed it only changes from one form to the other forms. So I hope the statement is clear. It is very simple. See, what is the statement here? Law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, and it only undergoes a transfer of between different forms. So energy is neither created, you cannot create any energy as such, and you cannot destroy any kind of energy. What we do is, if I stop any moving object, the moving object has kinetic energy associated with it. So when I stop the object, I would say that I made its kinetic energy 0. Yes, probably if you do not know about the law of conservation of energy, you will agree to this. That is, I told you whenever a moving object was there, any moving object has which kind of energy? Kinetic energy. And when I stopped this moving object by applying any kind of force, I stopped the moving object. Then now this moving object has no kinetic energy because it is at rest now. So you would say that, where is law of conservation of energy? The object which was having kinetic energy, the kinetic energy of the object got destroyed. That is, the kinetic energy now has the value 0. But if you know that we have many kinds of energies, in the introductory class I told you energy is the capacity of doing work, and you have different forms of energy, that is kinetic, potential. And in the universe, every energy you can divide in two categories. Either it would be kinetic, either it would be potential. Yes, we studied also the different forms like heat energy, light energy, chemical energy. So what we are doing is, I told you that I stopped the moving object, that is, I made its kinetic energy 0. But when the object stopped, it would have which kind of energy? Potential. Because potential energy is the energy of an object due to position, shape and state. So it is in the state of rest and it has now a fixed position. It is lying at a fixed position at rest. So now the object has 0 kinetic energy definitely, but it also has potential energy. So this is what law of conservation of energy states. That is, energy, you cannot destroy any energy. Similarly, you cannot create any energy. What we can do is, we can convert one energy to the other forms. And this is simply the law of conservation of energy. Now, according to this law, you can also conclude that, therefore, it can be concluded that the energy remains conserved. Okay, that the energy remains conserved. What do you mean by this line, the energy remains conserved? The same. That is, energy is fixed. The initial energy of the system is equal to the final energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So in short, you can also write that according to law of conservation of energy, energy remains conserved, and then you can write this complete statement. Okay. then one more conclusion which can be drawn from the law is initial energy of any system, initial energy of a system is always equal to final energy of that system. So this is again one more conclusion which can be drawn from the law, that is, if you are saying that energy remains conserved, no new energy can be added up, that is, no new energy is created or destroyed. It means the initial energy of the system remains equal to the final energy of that system always, okay? We are talking about one particular system. And like we studied law of conservation of momentum, see if you remember, okay? You have studied law of conservation of momentum in the previous video lectures. So law of conservation means initial momentum of the system is equal to final momentum. Then you can also write that the momentum remains conserved, and then you can write momentum cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. So this is again the same law of conservation of energy. Okay, if you remember, we wrote in the law of conservation of momentum, I told you P initial is equal to P final. P here means momentum. Momentum is denoted by the letter P. So P initial was equal to P final, and then we did the derivation for this law. So similarly, you have initial energy, we can write E initial, and here which kind of energy are we dealing it? If I ask you that here I should write kinetic energy or potential energy or any other kind. So here which energy which I'll be using is total energy. So we can say total initial energy of any system is equal to the total final energy of that system. Okay, so I can say total energy means every possible form of energy is included when I say total energy. So total energy of the system in initial state is equal to total energy of the system in its final state. So this is the law of conservation of energy. And now here we discuss, I told you, you have different forms of energy. Then I just recently told you every kind of energy you can group in two categories. Yes, you can just use the two categories, kinetic and potential. And every other kind of energy can be categorized under these headings. So total energy, we will be dealing with two kinds of energy, kinetic and potential. That means the initial kinetic energy and the final and the initial potential energy. If I sum both the energies, then their sum would be equal to the final kinetic energy and the final potential energy. So this is again a statement or a mathematical representation of law of conservation of energy. And mathematically, this law of conservation, it is also represented as all the kinetic energy added with all the potential energy of the system remains constant always. Okay? The sum of both the energies remains fixed. This is what law of conservation means. That is, the sum of kinetic and potential energy always remains fixed. And if I write it mathematically, that is, if I use the formulas, then for kinetic energy it would be half mv square. For potential energy it would be mgh, and this equals to constant here. So this gives you the perfect mathematical representation using the formulas for law of conservation of energy. So this depicts very clearly, very appropriately the law of conservation of energy. Now I hope the concepts are well clear, okay? We'll just revise it. Law of conservation of energy. This law states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It only changes from one form to the other form. Then we had that you can make a conclusion, energy remains conserved. What do you mean by the term energy remains conserved? It means that initial energy of a system is equal to the final energy. And here energy means initial total energy of the system is equal to the total final energy of that particular system. Then you can also express this line in a way that total initial energy is equal to total final energy. And in this total energy, I told you, you have to read two kinds of energy. That is, if I sum initial kinetic and initial potential energy, then this value will be equal to the final kinetic and final potential energy of the system, okay, to their sum. Then we saw that mathematical representation for law of conservation of energy. So it can be written as kinetic energy added with potential energy always remains constant. That is, for kinetic energy the formula is half mv square. For potential energy it is mgh. So half mv square plus mgh gives you a constant or a fixed value always. So this is law of conservation of energy. Now we will be understanding the law with examples, and then we will be doing questions given in your books, okay. You can read examples, it is given in the form of activities also and in the topic of law of conservation of energy also. So we will be discussing one example here, then we will be moving on to the exercise question. From them we will be doing the questions of kinetic energy, potential energy, and also the questions based on this topic, law of conservation of energy. So let's first understand this law of conservation by an example. Let's suppose this is a wall, okay. So this is a wall and you have a box which is lying on the wall. The mass of box is small m. So now we will be writing the energies which the box has. Because the box is lying at rest, that is, initial velocity of the box is 0, it means kinetic energy would be also 0. So here, because the box is lying on the wall, it is at rest, so we say that velocity of the block is 0 because it is lying at rest. That means kinetic energy is 0. But if I tell you what is the potential energy, so yes, potential energy is present because the block is having a constant position. So potential energy would be mgh. Now we will be finding the total energy for case A. Okay, let's suppose this is position A where the block is lying. So total energy would be what? Total energy is kinetic energy plus potential energy. This gives you total energy. So total energy in this case would be kinetic is 0 and then you have potential energy mgh. Now let's take one more position. Okay, this is the position A. Now let's suppose someone pushed this box, this block, and this block came here. Now this block has initial velocity, that is, it is moving down with the velocity u. So here the kinetic energy will not be equal to 0. So here kinetic energy would be equal to half m u square, that is the square of velocity according to the formula, and potential energy will also be equal to mgh, because see this block, okay, if I consider the potential energy of block at this instance, then it could be assumed that the block is present at a height h from the ground, it is moving under the gravitational force and it has a mass m. So the potential energy would be mgh. Now when the block would reach the ground, or just before the block reaches the ground, this is the ground surface. Okay. Now we are considering the block when it is just reaching the ground. Then you know whenever an object moves under the force of gravity, it undergoes acceleration. We have done this concept. This is the concept of free fall. Here consider this block is undergoing free fall, that is, do not consider the block is moving under any other force. You can take air resistance to be 0. What is the condition of free fall? Free fall is when an object moves only under the influence of gravity and you take the air resistance to be 0. So here the block, we are assuming that air resistance is 0, The block is undergoing a free fall motion, so it is only moving under the influence of gravity. Whenever an object moves only under the influence of gravity, it gets accelerated because the gravity is pulling down, so it gets accelerated. Acceleration means its velocity would change in a particular time t. So from the u velocity, its velocity increased to v when it was falling down. So the kinetic energy here would be what? The kinetic energy here would be maximum, because velocity here is maximum just before touching the ground, or just before this block reaches the ground. It has maximum kinetic energy because it has maximum value of velocity. But here potential energy would be minimum. So here you have maximum kinetic energy and minimum potential energy. But when this block will reach the ground completely, then its kinetic energy will become 0, because now it has reached the ground. So the velocity of the block on the ground is 0 and you have maximum potential energy now. So this is the law of conservation of energy. In the initial stage, in the starting, the potential energy was mgh, this, but kinetic energy was 0. Now when the block is falling from this wall, then its kinetic energy is increasing. Why? Because the velocity of block is increasing due to free fall, due to the acceleration produced by gravity in the block. So we say that firstly what you have is, in the first condition we can say kinetic energy of the block was 0 when it was lying at the top of the wall, but its potential energy was maximum. But when it was falling, then kinetic energy was increasing and potential energy was decreasing. Okay, during its travel, when it was free falling, then the kinetic energy was increasing. Why? Because the velocity is continuously increasing. Because the object is undergoing acceleration, so we can say the velocity will increase. And you know, if the velocity will increase, you have the formula of kinetic energy to be half mv square. So if the velocity will increase, then kinetic energy also increases. So we say that here in this condition the kinetic energy is continuously increasing, but the potential energy is decreasing. And the increase in kinetic energy is equal to the decrease in potential energy. Okay, the amount by which, the magnitude by which the kinetic energy is increasing, with the same amount, with the same magnitude, the potential energy will continuously decrease. It means the total energy will remain constant. Firstly, you had no kinetic energy and only potential energy. Now what is happening is, because of increase in velocity, the kinetic energy is increasing, but similarly the potential energy is decreasing. So when one thing is increasing, the other thing is decreasing with the same amount, with the same extent, and hence we can say that due to this the total energy would be constant. Just before reaching the ground, the potential energy of the block becomes 0. In this condition, when it is just reaching the ground, here the potential energy becomes 0, while you have the maximum kinetic energy because it has the maximum velocity. So we can say, here you can see that when one factor becomes maximum, the other attains a value of 0. Initially when potential energy was maximum, kinetic energy was 0. And at last, when it finally reaches the ground, now the kinetic energy becomes 0 and potential energy again attains a maximum value. So here if you calculate, if you are given the values of velocities, mass and acceleration, and then you can apply these formulas and calculate the energy. So here the total energy in all the cases will come constant, or you will get the total energy to be same in all the cases. And this would prove law of conservation of energy. So in examinations, if you are given any question based on law, what question would come? you have to provide the statement, that is, state the law of conservation of energy. So you can write the statement which we have written in 2 to 3 points. Okay, all the points you can include, and then you can include this. With the statement, include the mathematical representation of law of conservation of energy. Then you can be asked, give an example to explain law of conservation of energy. So you can provide any of the similar examples. Okay, this is an example from the book, and you can make any imaginary example. You just have to show the conversion here, and you have to write all this. And then you would be given numericals based on law of conservation of energy. So you can easily perform that. Now we have done with this topic. Now we will be doing numericals of kinetic energy, potential energy, and law of conservation of energy. These are the exercise question given at the back of your chapter, that is towards the end of the chapter. We have already done some of the questions which were related to work. Now we are doing questions based on kinetic energy, potential energy, and law of conservation of energy. And in the next class, today we will be doing the questions. And in the next class, we will be doing rate of doing work, which is the topic of power. Then we will be discussing the commercial unit of power, okay, that is kilowatt per hour, and everything we will be doing. And this would complete your chapter. And with that topic, we will be taking questions which are related to power. So in the next class, we will be doing our last topic, power, and its related questions. So, okay, now we will focus on our questions which we have to do today. And one more class will make this chapter also finished completely with all the concepts and questions. So the first question was related to work. Okay, we have already done this. Then the second also. The third is related to power here. Okay, no, it is a battery lights a bulb. Describe the energy changes involved in the process. Whenever the question comes about energy change, it means the question is from law of conservation of energy. Here it is given a battery lights a bulb. Now you have to discuss which kind of energy was initially present and that kind of energy changed to which form. So for doing answer number 3, you have a battery, and you are given when this battery is used to light up a bulb, then what are the energy changes involved in the question? So the first energy which is present in the battery, you all know battery contains certain chemicals. Okay, battery is a group of cell and these contain some chemicals. So battery is responsible for providing chemical energy. So battery has chemicals, and because the energy is provided due to the presence of chemicals, you can say that battery has presence of chemical energy. Now from the chemical energy, it is changing now to which kind of energy? See the chemical energy from the battery. If we draw a circuit, let's suppose in this way we represent a battery. This is a battery. And then you have a bulb. So bulb is represented in physics by this symbol. So this is the bulb. Now we know that the chemical energy which is present in the battery, it would get transformed to the electric energy here. Okay, so this chemical energy in the battery, it gets transformed to electrical energy, that is in the form of current obviously, and this current will flow through the wire and it would get to the bulb. And if you know, you have definitely read in your earlier junior classes that bulb, it contains a filament. If this is the bulb, okay, then this bulb contains a filament. This is the filament of the bulb. This filament is made up of very thin metallic wire, and the metal used generally is tungsten here. So this is, and when this filament melts, then the bulb gets fused. So you have certain kind of structure, that is filament, present in the bulb. Now whenever current reaches the bulb, what happens is this filament which is present in the bulb, it gets heated up. So now this electrical energy is converted into the heat energy, and when this filament gets heated up, it glows. In turn, we see the bulb glowing. So now this heat energy from the filament, the bulb will glow. That means heat energy would be finally converted to light energy. Okay, the heat energy would be converted to light energy. So these are the different kinds of changes which are occurring in this question. That is, from battery, whenever a bulb glows up, then what kind of energy changes are occurring? So firstly, in battery you have the presence of chemicals. That means battery has chemical energy. This chemical energy gets converted to the electrical energy in the form of current which is flowing. Now when this current or electrical energy reaches the bulb, what happens is, this metallic filament of the bulb, you have a filament of the bulb, and this filament gets heated up. So the electrical energy gets converted to heat energy, and at last when the filament gets heated up, it starts to glow, that is, it starts to produce light. And then we say the last kind of energy is light energy. So these are the different kinds of energy changes which are occurring. Now you have the fourth question. See, certain force acting on a 20 kg mass changes its velocity from 5 to 2. Calculate the work done by the force. You are given a mass 20 kg, then you are given initial velocity is 5 meter per second, final velocity is 2 meter per second, and you have to calculate the work done. Now here, do not get confused. I told you this is not a question of work. Whenever you are given, see, mass and velocities, and we have already discussed with the derivation also. For deriving kinetic and potential energy, what do we write first? We write the formula for work, and then we say that this work is equivalent to kinetic energy or potential energy. So now here you are given that find the work done. This does not mean you have to find the work here. Actually, you have to find kinetic energy. See, you can also get a hint that you are given the velocities. For finding work, do you need any kind of velocity? No. So here it is being asked, this work is actually equivalent to kinetic energy because the object is in motion. So we'll be applying this question fourth belongs to the question of kinetic energy. And now we'll be solving the question. So you have mass 20 kg, initial velocity is 5 and final velocity 2. So answer 4 would be, you are given mass of 20 kg, initial velocity is 5 meter per second, final velocity v is 2 meter per second, and now you have to find work, and this work here is equal to kinetic energy. So you have to find kinetic energy. Now just using the direct formula of kinetic energy is half m v square minus u square. Now you can directly substitute all the values. M, final and initial velocities are given in the question. So it would be half multiplied by m is what? 20 kgs. Half multiplied by 20 multiplied by v square would give you 2 square minus u is 5. So minus 5 square. So if we solve this out, you would get 10 here. So kinetic energy would be 10 multiplied by 2 square is 4, 5 square is 25, 25 minus 4 gives you a negative value of 21. Because the greater number has a negative sign, this is the basic calculus, that is maths. So 21 multiplied by 10 gives you kinetic energy of 210, and the SI unit would be joule. So the kinetic energy here comes out to be minus 210 joules. Okay, so this is, and this is the kinetic energy, or you can say minus 210 joule is the work which is required. You were asked calculate the work done by the force. So the work done by the force is minus 210 joules. And what is the meaning of this negative sign? This negative sign, that the work done is negative. It shows that work done is negative. And when do we have negative work? When the force which is applied has the opposite direction to displacement. And if you carefully read the question, see, the object was initially moving with a higher amount of velocity, and then the velocity of the object became low or less. It means the force which is acting on the object, it is, if the force is acting on the forward direction, then its displacement, that is the velocity, is decreasing, and hence you can say that work done is negative. Or we can say that when the force is increasing, the displacement or velocity is decreasing, and because both these have a different direction, opposite direction, thus we get a negative sign in our answer. I hope this is clear. So now we have the next question, which we have already done, okay, by work done by gravitational force. Then you have sixth question, the potential energy of freely falling object decreases progressively. Progressively means gradually. Does this violate the law of conservation of energy? So, does this statement violates the law? You are given that the potential energy of the object is decreasing. So, does this abolish or violates the law? So, the answer is no. What would be the reason? That when the potential energy is decreasing, in the same amount, the kinetic energy is increasing. You can write, I am writing in short, that decrease in potential energy is equal to the amount of increase in kinetic energy. And because the decrease of potential energy is equal to the amount of increase of kinetic energy, thus we can say that total energy is remaining constant here. So when the total energy is constant, then law of conservation of energy is obeyed or followed. So this would be your answer. Now next is, what are the various energy transformation which occur when you ride a bicycle? So whenever we are riding a bicycle, see, for riding a bicycle you need energy, and that energy comes from the food we eat. So answer 7th is very easy. You have to give the energy transformations. Okay, let's do it on this slide. Answer 7th. That is energy changes involved in riding a bicycle. So you would be only able to ride the bicycle if you have power, that is if you have energy. And this energy comes from the food we eat. So firstly you will be having energy from the food. And this energy, as food is also composed of chemical substance, so you can say that food contains chemical energy. So the energy present in our body due to the food we eat is chemical energy. Now this chemical energy, whenever you start to ride, then the chemical energy stored in your body, it would get converted to muscles or muscular energy. Okay, so chemical energy gets converted to the muscular energy. And when you apply the force on the pedals of bicycle using your leg muscles, and then you control the handle of the bicycle using your hand muscles, this means the chemical energy is getting converted to muscular energy. Muscular energy means for contraction and relaxation of muscles, of leg muscles and hand muscles. And now when you start to ride the bicycle, then this muscular energy will finally get converted to the kinetic energy. Okay, so the muscular energy gets converted to kinetic energy now. So these can be the energy changes. And one more energy change can be there, that when you are just sitting on the bicycle, you are not riding, then you can even call that with muscular energy you have a potential energy. Okay, till the velocity of bicycle is 0, you also have potential energy. And now these energies will finally get converted to kinetic energy whenever you start to ride the bicycle. Then you have 8th question, thus the transfer of energy takes place when you push a huge rock with all your might and fail to move it. Where is the energy you spend going? It is given that you have a big rock. You are trying to push the rock, but the rock is not moving. You are applying energy. You are doing work, that means you are getting tired, but the rock is not moving. So what kind of energy change is going on, or where the energy which you are applying is going, because the rock is not moving? So this energy, you can say, this energy is being used in what? Can you guess? The energy you are applying, definitely you are applying a large amount of energy to the rock. But this energy is being used up, or it is being consumed for overcoming the inertia of rest of rock. Or you can say this energy is consumed in overcoming the potential energy of the rock. So the exact answer would be, the energy you spend is going to overcome inertia of rest of the rock, and because rock is very huge, the magnitude of inertia is huge. Then you have 10th question, 9th question. 9th is from the power, we will not be doing it now. 10th is an object of mass 40 kg is raised to a height 5 meter above the ground. What is its potential energy? So you can calculate the potential energy in 10th question. Mass is 40 kg, height is 5 meter. So potential energy would be mgh. So 10 multiplied by g is 9.8, but for simplification we can take it approximately to be 10. And okay, the mass is 40, g is 10, and height is 5. So this gives you 5 into 10 is 50, and 5 4 is 20. Then you get 200 joules potential energy here. Okay, it is a simple calculation. All the values are given. You just have to substitute the values in the formula. Then next you are asked, what if the object is allowed to fall, find its kinetic energy when it is halfway down. It is given that now this object is allowed to fall. So when it is halfway down, it means now it has covered a displacement or a distance of half the height, which means 2.5 meters. Half of 5 is 2.5. And now you are asked to find, if the object is, find its kinetic energy. So what would be the kinetic energy of the object? It would be half m v square. So this v square you have to find, okay? We'll be doing this, see. Whichever question we are doing, we were required to find the kinetic energy, which is half m v square. And now you are given that m is 40 kg here. You know the value of g is 9.8, or you can approximately take it to be 10 meter per second square. Then next you were given a total height of 5 meters. Okay, let's suppose this is the ground, this is the object of mass m. Initially it was at a height of 5 meter. Now you are asked when the object is halfway down, okay, it means now this height h dash, if I consider, it would be 2.5 meters. And now here you have to calculate its kinetic energy. So kinetic energy, we have the formula half m v square. M is 40, but you have to find the value of v square. V square you will find from equations of motion. That is, for finding v square you have 3 equations of motion. The first 2 equations of motion, you also want a variable time. But because we are not given time here, so we cannot use v equals to u plus at, and we cannot use s equals to ut plus half at square, because we don't know the value of time. So we'll be using the third equation of motion, that is v square minus u square gives you a value of 2as, and here a is equal to small g, acceleration due to gravity. So v square u square is 0 here. Initial velocity of the object was 0. So v square would be 2gs. Instead of s, you have to place the value of h dash, which is 2.5. And I hope you would be able to find the value of v square from here. So v would be what? Root 20 into 2.5. This would give you the value of v. And when you substitute this value of v in this question, then it would be very easier to find kinetic energy. I hope now you have understood the concept. Likewise, similar questions comes in examinations, okay? So please do this question, solve it out, find the answer, and practice many more questions. Now in the next class, we'll be doing some more numericals of this. Today we have done till numerical 10th. So we'll be continuing by 11th. Whichever questions we were left during the concept of work, we'll be completing. And then also we'll be doing power and its commercial unit of power and the related questions. So thank you for joining today's class. If you have any kind of queries, you can contact us anytime. Stay home, stay safe, keep following us. Thank you.